This section right here, what we're going to be talking about is variables. What variables are and how we can use them. Now, this will be a simple introduction to variables.
Simple.
Very simple. We're not going to get into them real deep. We're not going to get into arrays and things like that. Just the basics of a variable, how you can use them, set them up, etc. Sound good, Logan?
Enough, yeah.
Enough. I always like to do
Cha-ching.
that. Sound good, Kristen?
Yes.
I just like to say that.
It sure does.
I'm just tired. Okay, so variables. What are variables? Well, variable is a way of setting up a little bit of memory so that you can store information for later use. Okay, Logan, give us your description.
Just an address, like what Buzz said, an address in memory to store stuff.
Okay. Now, Adam, give us your description of a variable.
It'd be like a container, maybe like a box that would be stored in memory that you could put stuff in.
Okay.
It's not an actual box, Antonio. I know you're listening.
Let me out! No! Oh, fill it up with water. Just kidding. Kristen. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man, I'm scared.
Kristen, give us your description of a variable.
I guess you could say a purse. You put stuff in it.
Okay.
And you can take it out.
It's like a spray bottle.
And water's the data. That works too.
You just spray it all over the place and hope it comes together.
Okay, a variable is a place that holds information. Okay, everybody's given a pretty good description of it, all in a different way. Let's take a look at. Let's just take a look at setting some up. First of all, when working with variables inside of PHP, we've got two types of variables that we will deal with. Scalar and arrays. All right, Logan?
Right.
And what is a scalar type variable, Kristen?
It holds one thing.
There you go. She was in the room. She heard.
Okay, yeah. I was probably watching Adult Swim or something.
Or playing video games. Who knows?
Halo.
Adult something or other.
Hey.
No.
That's actually anime for those of you out there that don't know any different.
Yeah.
What do they do at the Buzz house? I don't like this. Okay, so a scalar value is a single piece of data that is held in a variable. Logan, what's an array?
A list of values.
A list of values.
One variable that can hold lots of different values of
Okay.
the same type.
Very good. So in this particular section right here, we're not going to get into talking about arrays. We'll do that probably on the next VTM, I would think.
Sounds good.
But, yeah, especially with some of the data returning and, yeah, stuff like that. The bad thing is we're all just sitting here and Logan and I are just shaking our heads at one another. Nobody can see what the heck's going on, but that's okay.
Keep nodding at the microphone.
So, yeah, there's nothing like that. So do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Of course, nobody saw me do that either. So,
Sorry, I'm just mocking you. Go ahead.
Can we pay you to go to sleep?
No, I'm
Please.
not tired.
Here, pull her cable over there.
I
There
had
you
my
go.
nap last section.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good point. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at setting up variables. First of all, when dealing with variables, there are three primary types of data that you're going to store. Okay, we have an integer, and I'll just use this little area right here, kind of as a scratch pad. Well, actually, we'll tab on over. $ my variable equals. This is going to set up a variable in memory, or a place in memory that I can store information in. As Logan said a second ago, he said a memory address. Okay, but then he stopped himself and he said, yeah, basically what Buzz said. Well, this is exactly what we're doing. We're actually getting a little bit of memory in your computer that, of course, has a specific address that you would use to access that memory, and we're allotting it for us to store information in. This $my variable right here is a user-friendly name so that you can gain access to it. Good enough?
Sounds good.
Okay. So by doing this right here, this is going to create the variable, and back to the three different primary types of data that we can be storing. First of all, we can store an integer. What's an integer over there, Adam?
That'd just be a number.
But
Or
what
0
kind
to
of
1.
number?
A whole number.
A whole number.
With
And-
decimals.
What?
I don't know.
No, that's a float, my friend.
Kristen, take care of it for me, please.
An int?
Yeah.
It's just the whole number. It's like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you
No,
said
you
with
said
decimals.
with
No, I
decimals.
said a number, and you just looked at me stupid and looked at her. I was like,
I heard
Just-
decimal. Did you hear decimals? He said decimals.
yeah,
He
but
said
that was
decimal.
after you looked at me stupid. I was just throwing stuff out there.
You were
With letters!
okay. So an int is any whole number starting at 0, going positive and negative. No decimals allowed. Okay.
That's what I said.
There are two ways that we can store the int. First of all, right now, or integer, you're looking at $myVariable equals 5, and we can also store it as $myVariable equals quote 5 quote, which
So-
will still treat that as an integer.
Okay, I was going to say it doesn't
Yeah,
make a
this,
difference.
no, this could, it's going to act a little bit different. Some of the PHP books that you may go out and get in a bookstore, or if you get online, you start reading through some of the tutorials, you'll see the variables when populated with integers or floats, which we'll talk about in a second, represented two different ways, with these quotes and without. Me personally, I kind of like to go in there and do it without quotes, and you'll see why in just a second. So, you know what? Instead of calling this my variable, let's do this, my integer. Okay? So then, next type is we'll call it my float. A float. Tell me about it, Adam. What's a float, man? What's a float hold?
You got this one,
You
man.
got this
Oh,
one.
yeah, the number with the decimal.
Oh, that's very, man, you are so good tonight.
Yes.
Basically a float or a double. Okay, also known, we have data types of float and double. Don't worry about it. It's just basically how large the number is and how much memory and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, we're dealing with a number starting at 0, going positive and negative with decimals. Okay? So, Logan, were you going to say something?
Nope, that's good.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just
Just
corner.
keep saying decimals till it works.
I just saw him flip the mic like a westerner with a gun. I was waiting for him to say something.
He's a sharpshooter.
So 55.63 Terminator. This work for you, Logan?
Yes. yes it
Okay.
does.
So move on to the third primary type. We have my string. Okay, what does that do, Adam?
In that alphanumeric, be letters and numbers?
Very good. And we got more than just alpha, numbers and letters, don't we, Logan?
Just about anything that you can put in the ASCII char set.
There you go.
Any
The what?
character.
The ASCII jar set?
ASCII
Char.
char set. ASCII character set.
Would that be like
Okay.
symbols and stuff?
Yep. Yes,
Yeah.
it would.
Very good. So inside this, now I'm going to put quotes around this, and let's just put the buzz. Okay? So here we are with a series of letters, a space that are all being stored in this particular variable right here. Okay? So are you feeling okay, Kristen?
Yes.
Okay. So what we've done is we have set up 3 different variables. We have assigned them user-friendly names that we can use to easily gain access to these variables, and we have stored information into them. Now, let's go ahead and see how we can put these things to use. Remember how earlier we were getting the date? Remember this guy right here? Let me go ahead and come in here, and I'm going to just cut that line out with Control X. I'm going to come back up here and do $MyDate. Or better yet, let's do today's date equals